I am 26 years old and I run a 7-figure business. In October, we did 100K in cash collected net profit. We did 175K cash collected in total revenue. This is without ad spend. And then after expenses, payroll, being about 30,000 on ads, we landed at about 107K in net profit. So, and this is all at the age of 26. Now, was I born into a rich Asian household? No, definitely not. My dad was a pastor. He runs a nonprofit, and so he actually does not make any a fixed income, right? So that's always been difficult for our family. Now, how did I get to this point? I was just watching a few videos back in 2018 that I dropped. From 2018, if you guys want to go back to my YouTube channel, 2018 to 2020, really 2016 to 2020, I was making videos on YouTube. Didn't know what I wanted to do. Wasn't making a lot of money. We're talking like $1,000. My first job was like $8 an hour, scraping pans at Pizza Hut. That was my very first job. And then pushing carts at ShopRite, and I did a lot of different things. Over the years, my number one lesson is this. If you don't give up, and when you just put one step forward, and after you put one step forward, you decide to put another one step forward, in a few years, you're going to look back and not recognize how you got to this point. I think only recently I actually look back, and when I look back, I can see how far I've actually came. There's people that will pay me $1,000 per hour that I spend with them. And even when I started to make $15,000 a month in personal income, $20,000 a month in personal income, seeing $15,000, $20,000 a month come into your bank account after expenses, your own personal payout, after you keep money in the bank for your business bank account, and it comes into your bank account, and you have $15,000 to $20,000 every month coming in, you start to, or at least for myself, I started to see how much I've came. And so this is for you right now. You might be in this season where you're just, I call it the grind period, where you have to develop yourself. You don't have any skills. You're not that good at sales. You're not that good at marketing. You're not that valuable to the marketplace. And the thing is, society right now, to the average male, right? If you're talking about like somebody that's younger, in the early 20s, when you're in your early 20s as a man, right? You can't even call yourself a man at this point. Right? You have no value to give to society. And that's why, if you look at people early 20s, if you don't have money, society, in a way, the world looks at you and treats you as somebody that needs to deserve to earn their spot, right? Like, they're not going to take you serious in the very beginning. And as you get older, as you have more experience, you get more, you make more money, and you start to learn how to communicate more to the people around you. You start to gain more respect. And the sooner that you can do this, and I'm not saying that this is the end all be all, right? If you seek fulfillment in these things, you will never find fulfillment. But with that being said, it's still important to learn the skills of how to make money, learn the skills of how to build wealth, and be able to give back. Because listen, if you don't make money for yourself, right, not only is it going to be harder for you to take care of your family, and I have a mom and dad, right? I have two brothers. So I have not only my immediate family, but I have my future family I'm going to build. And right now I'm raising money. I'm saving money right now for my future family as well as my current family, so that they don't have to go through struggles. My dad still has to do moving gigs. He has to help pick up furniture. His back is hurting. When I see that as a son, that's the motivation for me to know why I'm doing this. One of the reasons why I'm doing this. And so money isn't inherently a bad thing. And the sooner that you're able to make money, in my humble opinion, the sooner that you're able to make money, the more you start to understand how you can actually help people, right? And you start to understand the world more, right? Because it's almost a level in a game, right? If you think about it like a game is played in different levels, and level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. And a big part of leveling up is going to be being able to be financially secure. If you are always worried about money, if financially you don't have a healthy amount in your bank account right now, right? And trust me, I've been there. Even a few years back, even a year back, I was not set financially. I didn't have, every time I pull my phone, I would pull up the banking app. I wouldn't be happy with that number. I would be anxious. And oftentimes the reason why I wouldn't pick up my phone in the first place was because I didn't want to see that number. But there comes a point where you realize you can either start now or you can start later. You can either start today or you can start in 5 years. So the sooner you start to take action and fail and fail and fail. I started 3, 4, 5 businesses before I got to this business. And granted, it was the same business over time, and I just changed names and logos and different business partners, but it still took me that many tries. And so when you're young and you might not see a way through, if you're in that grind period right now, just know that there is a breakthrough moment, and there's a breakthrough moment that's waiting to happen for you. You just have to be patient enough to see that breakthrough moment happen. And when it does happen, you're going to think, I thank my 18-year-old self. I thank my 20-year-old self. I thank the version of me that dropped out of high school, that decided to have big enough balls to just let go of his degree at college and pursue an uncharted path that his parents or his siblings had no clue about. His friends didn't have any clue. Right? My friend's family didn't understand what I was doing. And you're going to have to do that. And you're going to have to just see it through. Because at the end of the day, here's the thing. No one is going to take responsibility for your losses. And it's the same way. No one's going to take responsibility for when you win. Okay, so don't expect people to take responsibility for your losses. But also know that when you do win, you won. That's real winning. Winning is when you're able to lose so many freaking games and still show up and still have faith and still have conviction and still have belief that one day you will win. And the thing with business, as long as you're smart, you get to a point where you're just financially set. I want to reach this year, hitting 7 figures in cash in my bank account. Right? When you do that, if you have $1 million in cash in your bank account, you take safe returns of, let's say, let's say 5%. That's $50,000 a year that you make passively without having to do anything. You escape the system. Does that make sense? You make $50,000 a year passively with just having $1 million in the bank account. You don't have to work to make $50,000, while people work 40 to 50 hours a week to make $50,000. You understand how that game is you becoming a man that can get to that point. And it doesn't have to take long. For me, it took long. For me, it took 7 years. I still believe it's going to take 3 years. But to know that, and this is not just like me trying to lift myself up. I'm speaking lessons, hopefully, that you'd learn, is that I am so glad that I am on the other side. I've put in my 6 hours. I've put in my 10,000 hours. I've put in the time. That's something that no one can take away from me. No one can take away the 6, 7, 8 years of hardship, of lessons. And even if I didn't make a lot of money in the first 7 years and not making money now, it didn't matter, because the first 6, 7 years, I had to learn and build a character of who I am now to then be able to make money. The person I am today, real wealth. I was listening to Paul Graham from Y Combinator. He has a really good blog that you should type in, how to build real wealth. And he talks about how wealth isn't money. Like, wealth isn't cash, right? It's not cash. It's not any of this, right? It's not this. This is rich. You could be rich, right? You could be rich but not wealthy. Wealth is you. Wealth is the skills that you build. Wealth is the character that you build. Because the rich person will have money, and when he loses it, he won't be able to make it back. Or it's going to take him a while for him to make it back. Or he won't be able to make it back. Wealth is you can take all the money in my bank account, and I will still make the same amount of money that I'm making now. That's wealth. Because wealth is something that you can't get taken away from you. And that is, I think, not, aside from money, aside from cash, the person that you become when you look at yourself in the mirror 6, 7, 8, 10 years down the line, it's an amazing feeling, and I hope that you feel it.